Okay. So I don't know who he was talking to, obviously. Um, and I think some of these messages they're out of order. Like I think they combined different messages from different people. Maybe. Oh wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I gotta mute you a little bit. Okay. So, but this is what I thought was interesting. It says the wizard's hands were lower than the Chiron, but the spell seemed to work. Now, I don't know how obvious this is to y'all, but because I'm into Hellenistic things, okay, and I understand that a spell seemed to work, that's the spell. But a Chiron in the wizards, yeah, a Chiron is a if I remember correctly, this is a Greek creature. It's like a centaur or something like that. It has something to do with their religion. So it's magical. It's magical. But if it didn't help already, they say wizards. So this is from they say it's from 2019. Yeah. So they're talking about wizards. They're talking about a magical, mythical being called a Chiron, which is part of a Greek mythology. And then they say the spells seem to work. This is from the files. Yeah. Have y'all seen
Wow,
this
wow,
already?
wow. No, I haven't. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one. Did you see the one with MK Ultra?
But I don't know. I seen something similar. I'm going through it right now. Allegedly, somebody training some kids for something. It was giving, how can I put it? Youth soldiers, allegedly. It was giving that. Okay.
Mm.
And I was like, what is going on here? I was like, it's a long document that I found that I have to finish going through. But yep, this is I'm talking about magic for like the 11th time. Okay. So yeah, the elites they mess around with magic and shit like that. Okay, y'all see
The,
it?
the
I'm
world,
done.
yeah, thank you, thank you. The world is not what it appears to be, guys. The world is not as it seems to be. We are in a system. I'll call it the matrix. The
For
matrix. What's up, Mansa?
It was good. Could I ask a question to the person who was just speaking about magic?
sure.
I didn't really understand. Like, I don't really. I don't think I accurately understand or mentalize.
You went out. I don't. Did y'all hear it? I didn't
Got a
hear.
call. Yeah. I don't know that I accurately mentalize what magic would be, but what do you think that is? Like, how is that? How does that work?
Okay, so
Like, just broadly, yeah.
okay, so magic, what they call magic in English, we may call juju or something like that. Basically, it's them manipulating the forces of nature to get an outcome that they want. So, you can do that by harnessing certain cultural beliefs, cultural energies. So, for instance, if enough people believe in a certain thing or say certain things, it gives it power, and you can use that power, the power of the people's beliefs, basically, to manifest what you want to manifest. Obviously, you have the magic of, I'm gonna call it the Damu, where what they're probably using these people for in this picture here on the prompt, when you unalive someone or something, and you can use that life force to get what you want. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it works. The whole people say the setting the intentions. Yeah, that is part of it. Like, you do need to have an intention, but the way the system works in the old days, oh, I was going to say, just read the Bible. Okay? No, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, this is literal. What I'm saying is that in the Bible, those different offerings and sacrifices, the candles, the incense, the herbs, all of those put together, the saying of certain words and phrases. I forget the Catholic word for it, but like It's like
Hymns,
liturgicals.
chant,
Hmm?
hymns and chants.
It's more, yeah, like chants, but it's like they call it liturgy or something like that. Liturgy. I can't remember the words, but basically, there's like a whole corpus, a body of work that they do that is ancient, and so because it's so old and it's been done for so long, it reinforces itself. That's how it really works. But if you're not into it, then it can sound really bad shit. Like it can sound really wild. But I'm telling you that this is how they understand it to work. The people who practice magic is that they use ancient rituals. And because the rituals have been used for so long, hence them being ancient, they're more potent, they're more powerful. So, does that make
It,
sense?
partially.
Okay.
I just want to ask like 1 second question, but generally, just to define myself, I think I lean more atheistic. Like I'm more of atheistic brain. However, I understand majority of what you just said, and I do think the CIA operates
Whoa,
similarly.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Can't say that. I'm sorry. Censor
Oh,
yourself.
okay.
3-letter organization or something. Say that.
Yeah, the CP, the three-letter organization, they think of reality as highly systematic. So they
Everyone, just
input.
drop as he talks. Just drop fruits in the chats. Everybody, keep going, brother.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah,
going,
so
Moses.
basically, yeah, the three-letter organization. I've read some of their documents. They think about reality extremely systematic, input, output. Like we can talk about each of the factors like sound, color, etc., things, words. Obviously, that's like the rudimentary understanding that I have. Maybe I'm missing something. When you say life force, like what does that mean anything intrinsically? Like what is that something different than, let's say, me or you? The inputs that we make, or like what does that mean when you say that?
Flesh.
You said yeah.
That's what I said. It means flesh. Something
Ah,
that was alive, but they rendered it unalive. That's what that means.
okay. And does that have any does it have any inherent essence? Like, is it anything different from let's say you, my flesh and your flesh? I'm trying to ask it. Is there anything else entailed with it, or is it just like what you just said, flesh?
Okay.
Does
What?
is there any categoric specificity? Like, let's say chicken is different from me or you, and why so?
Okay. That's a good question. So, why would a chicken be different from you or me? I guess that's dependent on, like everything, it is subjective. It depends on how humans view things, right? But the unfortunate part of that is that if we ritualize something, meaning if we continue to do something for long enough, the understanding in magic is that that is what gives something power, even if it innately may seem powerless. So for instance, if we think that a chicken's life is worth less than a human one, which is typically the general consensus, right? For most humans, unless you're like a Jane. Even so, if enough people over time unalive the chickens for allegedly for rituals, that will build up the understanding of that being a part of the process of achieving what they're trying to achieve. It becomes like a formula, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if I understand, but I think I do. Is it uh are the effects what matters? Like the idea that people believe building momentum every time the procedure is executed,
It's
instead of
both.
just okay,
Go
I get it.
ahead. I'm sorry. It's both, but continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're based. I don't know. Let me know if this is correct. You're saying that the more people do things, the more consolidated the idea becomes amongst a collective, granting it more power.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah,
Master, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say
Go ahead.
this. I too used to be highly, highly, highly skeptical of all of the things that I'm discussing right now. Okay. If I couldn't see it, I would not believe it. And I got that way because the answer of, I don't want to get off into this. I'm just giving people example. I don't want to debate this though. When I was 16 or 17, I learned about Egyptian cosmology and the connection, the similarities between that and the story of Jesus, right? And I also was thinking about, I was learning more in depth about slavery, and I couldn't reconcile what I was learning about slavery with the existence of God. And it really took me down a path where I did not believe anything that I couldn't see. Okay. But eventually I came off that path. I'm not going to explain how I got off that, but I can see how it could be very difficult if you have a more materialist mindset, you know. But from what I've experienced and what I've learned and seen, it's real. And it's really crazy for me to actually like say that out loud, knowing who I was and how I thought just like 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, and you don't have to believe it, but that is part of how it works. The other ways that it works, I can't really share online, but that is the understanding, and that's why they're doing it. It's a ritualization of certain things. They believe that certain things harness power over time. And unfortunately, like some of the stuff that people have said that's been put in movies and media about humans and particularly children being more valuable, unfortunately, for the type of stuff that they're doing, yeah, it's unfortunately true. So, you know, yeah, it's just really sad. I don't know. There's nothing I could really say. Like, it makes my stomach hurt, but yeah. Okay.
Hey, Mansa, have you seen them? Have you seen those alphabet folks, the one you mentioned initially? Have you seen them use anything to do anything? Anything like she was describing?
Uh, I don't want to come off as someone who's vehemently against any type of spiritual mindset or God. I'm not that type of atheist per se. So when you say that, like I have little to no skepticism towards this. I think it's just an interpretive variance. Like we're literally saying the same thing. The three-letter group specifically, I think they just operate like society are the people in society are a bunch of mice
Hmm.
because the framework they use, like similar to what we just discussed, it kind of assumes that you understand reality to a higher degree than those who you're practicing on. I don't know if that sounds woo woo, but I don't think so. And yeah,
It,
I
it
think
doesn't.
that they
It
use
doesn't.
this a lot. Humans are very, very interesting because our entire, the way we operate is contingent on identity. And if you affect identity, which is an abstract concept in itself, then you control the human. And if you affect a group identity, then you control group. And if you affect the entire species identity, then you control the entire species. I think that's how it ultimately works.
So let me say this, right? So because I'm a Haitian, right, and I wanted a study about how we took, got our independence, and I've heard a lot of stories, a lot of things about how it happened, what happened, what we did. The story is vague, but the only thing that I can say in all the stories was what she's talking about, where we went and did what we needed to do in that way in order to get rid of those people, in order to free ourselves. But if you look at it, you can never find the exact method, meaning step by step. And this is not even that far along. You can never find step by step of what happened, the exact method that we took to get it done. We know we did something and we freed everybody until we just got until the the 1800s, when they just punished us since then, the 1900s, and we've been suffering ever since. But I didn't believe it either until I went and started doing history on how, like, what did we do for a couple of thousand people to get rid of hundreds of thousands of people? How did we get it done? And everything falls back to rituals and things of we had to do in order to make it happen. So then I was like, oh, okay, it's real.
Master, do you know? Are you aware that they do visualization, which they call the ability to see things that are somewhere else? The alphabet folks, the one you mentioned, called that remote viewing. Have you heard about that?
No,
No.
could you ex- explain it?
It'll be best. It'll be best. They've made it a public record, so they declassified it. It'll be best if you just research it. But the ability to tap into your senses to see things that are far away, and whether it's another country, specific location, specific item that they're trying to track down. For example, there was a plane that crashed and they couldn't find it. They searched, but they used remote viewing to find it eventually. And then when the people went back to find it, when the person said it was, that's where they found it.
I thought the
Think like the
military.
stuff on X-Men. Think like X-Men, telepathy and stuff like that. Like the stuff
Right.
that they've been putting in the media about super abilities. Like, yeah, they've actually been studying that for a long time.
Yeah, since the alphabet, since they started the agency, they've been studying all that. But they're now practicing, and they have people that have those, like she just said, the X-Men. They have students or people that they use for that.
Yeah, I thought the military's been using that since the 40s, or
Possibly
1940s.
too. Possibly too.
Yeah,
Possibly too.
I've seen it somewhere, and I researched it, and it said that the military has been experimenting with it for a long time to be able to but they only do it with certain people. Certain people have a certain
Correct.
aura and
Correct.
certain
If
power.
certain people, yes,
Yeah,
correct, very correct. But you'll see it on the official website, and then you see the declassified documents, and then you can then search for videos of them talking about it.
yeah, I've seen it. You 100% correct. But I thought it was the military, but I didn't know it was that.
It's possible that, the military have their own branch of intel agencies as well.
Dude, I just found that. I didn't know. I didn't know it was
Yeah,
that
they
deep.
they all do. They all do. It's not just the ones we know. They all do have their own branches as well.
Yeah.
Other obvious one, right, is that if you look at certain, it's everywhere pretty much. If you look at a lot of corporations, they name them after like Greek and Roman mythology, right? I don't know if people have noticed that, but there's things like Apollo. There's even, like I just said, Chiron. They love Zeus a lot. Like all these different gods,
This
and
this the coffee logo.
which one? Oh, yeah, that one too. Yeah. So they put a lot of things out in the open because they know that the average person is not looking into it, and the average person will think that it's just, innocuous. Like they think it's just not a big deal. But when you couple that with the knowledge of the things that we're talking about now, then you can see that it's not something so innocent. Like there's something else going on, allegedly.
I like that allegedly.
We have to use it. We have to.
That's
But
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was going to say the censorship is real. But go ahead.
I think this is an interesting conversation. It feels like we're on opposite sides of the same elephant, but I can see through to see that we are technically on the same side. But are you guys into sociology or behavioral economics or anything like that?
Of course, I am.
I like psychology.
I like
Yeah.
both sociology, psychology, and I also like myths and things like that. I like to see why humans create the stories that they do.
I'm just gonna bring up. I think this is foundational. Like the point you just spoke about. Maybe I'm not receiving the accurate meaning, but what I'm interpreting is, let's say some associate a Greek god or through a lot of sociology, you've picked up the basic rule that you necessarily have to acknowledge that you've seen something for it to affect your psyche. It could be shown for a slight second or a slight millisecond, and it's still going to be a part of your cognition, and it affects how you reason with future events. It's like, oh, like I remember seeing that, or like the concept of deja vu or things like that. There's always something. You're always taking information in, and how you use that in the future, you could use it unknowingly or knowingly. It's kind of a moot point.
I'm sorry, I was in the comments. Okay, so I'm so sorry. Can you summarize that again for me? Because I think you were saying, like, just a
Essentially,
materialist analysis, but again,
yeah. Essentially, you don't have to know you've seen something for it to become a part of your reasoning process. And if you can affect someone's reasoning, you can control them. That's what I got from what you said. If you could hear me, I don't know what's going on.
yeah. For sure. There is a larger discussion to be had about their desire for complete or near complete control over the entire species, allegedly, right? And how they may use, different symbolism and I guess structures that we have sentimental connections to or with to achieve that goal. I think they are I think it's all interconnected, it's definitely interconnected. At this point in my life, I'm definitely a spiritualist, for now and forever. But what I would say in general, kind of going back with what Zoe was detailing about the Haitian Revolution, is that my understanding of things at my age right now, until I grow and change my mind or whatever, is that in order to accomplish certain things in this world, you need both the so-called material or the physical and also the spiritual. They unite together. They're one, but I would say our dualist society, the Western society, has separated them using, illusions. And so now we think that it's either one or the other. You have people who have their head too far in the clouds, and you have people who are overly pragmatic, like they don't assume that something else is going on. When in reality, you need to have your head on a swivel, looking in all directions, because there's a lot of shit that's going on. And if you don't watch out, you can miss it. So that's how I feel. Like there's spiritual things going on, and that spiritual and that physical, they are one and the same. They are connected. They don't move without each other. But people can feel free to disagree. But yes, there's a psychological explanation. Just like if you've been looking into it, like there's this guy I don't remember his full name, but I think it's Robert Sapolsky or something like that. He's a neuro scientist, a neurophysicist or something like that, I think. And he does a lot about human biology and our brain, and it's connected to, our belief systems and stuff like that. And he talks about how at one point people who had schizophrenia would have been considered shamans, in certain societies. And I just thought that was interesting because usually what happens is that the Western world, they have their own like diagnostic worldview, like everything has some sort of disorder or some type of label. And a lot of the East, they have like a more spiritualist perspective and way of confronting a problem. But in reality, the problem is the same. They just have different vocabularies for them. So I think that's what you were referring to earlier.
I think Tony Robbins calls something like that reticular activating system, whereby you see something, if it registers, um, it might get embedded into your subconscious to the point that if you see it again, you recognize it very easily. And that's what they do with advertising. They show it to us over and over and over and over and over again until we buy into it. That's why they have so many damn commercials every 30 minutes as we watch TV.
True.
Uh,
So I'm gonna say this. Have you guys ever heard of music you didn't like, but
oh yeah, that too.
it played so much, you
That
start
too.
bobbing your head. You like, I hated this last year.
Right.
It's there. It's the power of physical, mental, and spiritual. It's all in one. It's all in one.
So I call it programming.
Yeah,
So if you think about it, uh, the the rap the hip hop music, when it was in control by the pioneers and then the greats, they were moving in one direction. When the small hats took over the industry, they started watering it down, onto the point that it became like a virus or dark and evil.
yeah.
That way they poison our kids and the youths. So it's gone from conscious music. Now it's what do you call those songs now? Drill music, and all those kind of music about smoking, sleeping with women, and things of that nature. So it's gone from conscious music to what it is today. So we have to understand that even though, like you just said, we didn't like it, but now you're bopping to it, and they control the distribution, they control the radio stations, they control everything else, the magazines where we hear about those people, they control
TikTok.
the social media, the streaming platforms now, everything. So they now control how we think, how we move, and what becomes a hit for us. Like Sexy Red, a lot of us didn't like her when she first popped into the scene, but guess what? Today, a lot of people like her, right? Everybody was complaining, but because that was the right thing to do. But after a few spins, boom, everybody's liking her. Go ahead, Mansa.
Yeah, it's funny that people could even come on here and argue and say, well, it doesn't have an effect. It doesn't have any effect. Stop it. This is anti-black, whatever. Obviously, it's not going to have an effect on people who have already formated an identity, like adults, right? Who's in the conversations. But to kids, obviously, it shapes what they see as acceptable, cool, aspirational, etc. And it's so obvious, but it's like, we're really going to argue this. And with the guy on the prompt, the small hats, if you think about it, it's kind of funny that they initially, if we're even allowed to say this, Judaism, that it's kind of like the core. Yeah, it's the core of. It's the core of, what is it? Islam, if we're allowed to say that, and obviously Christianity. It's like they were controlling how everyone would see the world on set. They set the foundation, and everyone started to think like them. That's kind of how it went. And still, it exists today in multiple communities, and even ours. And the way we came in contact with their beliefs, it changed how we viewed ourselves. Like, there's people today who will say, someone's demonic. It's like, are you serious? Your people's practices, your ancestors' practices that formated over thousands of years is demonic. if we can look at hair in the Black community, certain hair is looked down upon. Cut your hair, etc. Blah blah blah. I mean, we can go down the list. It's like this idea needs to be trashed.
So that I call colonization. I'm going to read this to you. Give me a second. Let me pull it up. And you tell me what you think. But what you just described sounds a lot like colonization, which to me, it's like a software. Okay. Colonization systematically programs conquered peoples by imposing the colonizer's language, laws, education, and religion. This software overrides indigenous systems engineering a society that serves the colonizers' economic and political control. The goal is to create a dependent population that internalizes inferiority, which is what you were talking about. Our old ways are now being demonized, and then externalizes the colonizer's culture as superior, which is what we see today with the three religions you mentioned. This psychological and social programming ensures lasting dominance long after physical occupation ends, affecting identity, thought patterns, and self-governance. Decolonization, therefore, requires deprogramming, reclaiming language, which we're all speaking that language, knowledge, our old ways, who we were before they erased our identities, and cultural frameworks. So this is what I believe you just described.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
And by the way, they don't need everyone. They just need a certain majority, right? So even though say for instance, you use conscious and you like, this is not right. But if it's 1 out of 10 of you, you don't matter, right? You don't matter. You can have 10 conscious people, but if you have thousands of people that's following their footsteps, that's why when you go to certain places, you're like, man, this is not right. But if 1,000 people are saying, nah, it's right, at some point in time, you can't fight the masses. You're gonna have to either isolate yourself, or you're gonna have to you do one or two things: isolate, or you leave. You leave that boundary, and you have to go do your own thing.
Yeah, this is pretty deep. It's pretty deep, and I'd say that's like groupthink. And then the bad sides of human cognition, seeing like a multitude of people agreeing with one point makes you more inclined to agree with them. Obviously, this is not a brute yes or no. It's like a disposition. They have a disposition to believe the in group.
And the crazy part about it is, I feel like they catch people young. They catch them at the young age when they're more vulnerable. And if you notice, this is the biggest thing. From the time I was a child to now, life in general has changed and shifted so much to where my mom never had to work. Oh, so because she never had to work, she always looked out for us, looked after us, and guided us throughout, regardless what it was. If we came from school, she would talk to us, reprogram us, however it needed to be. She stayed home, she cooked. Now, just think about it. Now, mom has to work, dad has to work, child has to get a job as soon as he turns 16, 17 years old. There's no guidance. There's no direction. You can try your best, but after leaving that 8 hours worth of work, you don't have time to sit down and reprogram your kids. They come from school with their friends, and even if you think you're doing a good job, their friends is influencing them way more than you are. So that's why when I went to Africa, I was like, whoa, this is the way it should be. Everything's a village. Everything is together. Everything is more of a smaller. Now, don't get me wrong. They still colonize. But they're still a unit. not as a entire country, but I'm talking about the villages itself. It's still more of a family atmosphere. The mom stays home, dad works, and vice, whatever it may be. But yeah, that's
So somebody was telling me this yesterday, and I thought about not yesterday, a few days ago. The villages are perhaps still intact versus the metros and the cities in Africa in terms of colonization
right.
or being colonized. Some of them don't even speak English. They still keep their ways. They still keep the culture.
You're 100% correct. So like when I go to Masaka, they said don't talk. So the city, the capital is can't remember the name. Whatever. The capital, they'll say don't trust anybody in the capital. Everybody will I say, yeah, I'm going to the capital to go do this or have some fun. They'd be like, don't trust anybody, don't talk to anybody. They say that entire. Now, this is the villages. Villages will tell you, do not talk to them. They're evil people. They're bad because they've become colonized, and they are different. They're different people. They act different. They speak different. They're more aggressive. They're more of the American style type of people. But in the villages, but the thing is, when the individuals, because I've seen people leave to go live in the bigger city, when they come back, they're like, that was not for me. I almost, like, they can sense the evil there. They're like, no, I can't do it. And when they come back, they'll tell you, nah, this is the life that I want in the smaller village, because the villages are important. The togetherness is very important. And mind you, as black American, as black people, we need to stop moving away from our family. We are doing exactly what they want us to do. We're so spread out. Our mom lives here. The sister lives here. We go here to college. We don't come back. So everybody's spread out. We only come see each other during Christmas time or maybe some holidays. We need to change that whole scenario. That needs to be demolished and decide to stay home. And not saying stay home all the time. If you're going to go to college, come back. Stay close. Build a village. I believe family is the most important thing on this planet. So the closer you are, the better you are at some point.
That's how it should be. Actually, they don't even have to move out. The grandparents are supposed to be teaching their grandchildren. They're supposed to transfer the wisdom and the knowledge while the parents are working.
100%.
They're supposed to transfer wisdom down.
Yeah. Because the child, the parents, yeah, that's the system, right? The parents get older. They both go to work. The grandparents usually stays there. They teach
Exactly.
They teach the child the language, right?
Yep.
They teach
language, everything they know about the culture.
Everything, how to cook, how medicine. And you're learning this between the ages of 1 and maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Right? And so that was the system that we had. Remember
they
still
use it. They still use it in Africa.
No, I'm talking about here. We used to do it here.
Oh.
Before Google came and everybody moved out because they can get around. Google has been the biggest enemy of separation, because once you're not afraid to get lost, you okay to go anywhere you want to go. So it's wild.
I want to second what he said about the village, or just somewhere that's more interior or rural compared to like the large cities. I wasn't told that people are evil per se, but people did warn me like, hey, just be careful, you can get hustled. Because how the big cities are. They're like that everywhere. The big cities is where everybody be hustling people, overcharging. Somebody can pickpocket you or whatever you call it, like those types of things. And I was like, oh, where? Like, really? And they're like, yeah, because, I'm not from a big city, right? But I went to a huge, huge city, And I didn't have any negative experiences like that, but I was warned by people who are from the village. And so it is true. It's that metropole thing, that, what do you call that? Like that concentration of capital is what leads to that type of behavior.
So
Yeah.
when I said evil, they were more talking about the girls than anything else. Because me, when I'm going to the city, I'm going out to party, right? And party always leads to more chaos than a little bit. That's all they were talking about when they were like, "Be careful, shit will happen." So
Wait a minute. I'm clocking some. I'm pocket watching. No, not about that. I don't care about that. I'm pocket watching. TikToks ain't say nothing. Birdie came in here and gave him 10 gifts. He ain't give nobody else nothing.
Hey, it's
Is
not.
this like some
Hey,
this pro Jamaican
it's
stuff going on?
Jamaica. It's Jamaica. Jamaica. Jamaica for Jamaica. You know,
This is what the FBAs we talking about.
it's the green. It's the green, yellow, and black.
What happens in TikToks anyway? He's not even talking.
Probably watching TV.
But no. The world is a
is there
interesting
another
place.
platform we're gonna be using, or we gonna stay here?
Pan.
I just opened a YouTube account for now. I'm gonna look into other accounts. It's in my profile. Go follow me on YouTube. Go subscribe. It's in my profile page.
Okay, cool.
I'm
So
I'm
is
working. I'm working on it.
there any like we don't have as a black people, we don't have any social media platform, do we?
We have one,
What is it
but we
called?
don't support. We don't support our own
What is what is it called?
fan base.
Fan base? FAN?
That's
Yep,
us?
yep. That's us. Isaac Hayes' son.
Oh shit, Isaac Hayes?
His son. Yep.
Wow.
So when is he gonna advertise it?
He's
Every
been
channel,
trying.
all the
We don't
channel.
support our own. I keep telling you that. He's been trying.
Yeah, he
I didn't see
advertises
it.
all the time. Yeah.
Hey, bro, if I get off, I'm just trying to find it real quick. Because sometimes when I don't have the screen up with you guys, it'll kick me out. So I'm gonna look for it real quick. Just give
All
me a
right.
second.
It's
Look
called
for
fan
in
base.
the App Store. Look for in the App Store.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, I didn't see it. But definitely I'm gonna check it out and tell people about
Hey,
it.
hey. Oh, you're done. Once you're finished, sorry, I apologize.
My
Finish.
my bad. I was just gonna say, I think part of it, which I'm not saying it's a valid or invalid excuse, but I remember when everybody was on Black Planet, right? And people were up there and they liked it, and then eventually I don't even remember what happened. Like, it got shut down. People migrated to another site. I don't remember exactly. But the thing is, we were all on it like it was ours. And come to find out, like, it was half owned by somebody who is not, Black at all. And then the other half of it is owned by somebody who, is part small hat and part African. So it's like there's so many things. This is an example of so many things that we use that we treat like it's ours, and then come to find out like it's either not ours at all, or we have like a small stake in it.
So, he's done raising money, venture capitalists. He's gone to them. I think he's done. Yeah, he's done venture. So I'm not sure if the people you're referring to have bought into his company or not. So I can't tell you that, but I know he's been trying to raise money too. So it's possible that he doesn't have 100% ownership anymore.
That's the crazy part. Like, they are everywhere. It's like you
Yeah.
can't make shit move, not in the West without them. Like,
They
especially social
didn't.
media, they gonna get a piece.
Yeah, but they didn't support him that much though. Then he turned to raising small crowdfunding investors from the community, but still people didn't support him. So I know they didn't support him last time I looked into it, but I'm not sure if anything has changed. It's been a while. It's been about a year now since I looked into his fundraising. Travis,
What's up, brother?
is it free?
Yeah.
Everybody that speaks about it says that don't you have to ask the question? Don't you have to pay for it?
No,
I've heard that a lot.
I don't know where people got that from. No, you download it; it's free. Yeah,
But
I'm
you
on it.
charge you can charge people to see certain contents though,
Yeah,
right?
correct. You got there's a subscription service on it. What people may be referring to is he has a it's a crowdfunding thing, right? Where he basically allows people to invest in it.
Right.
And he's had a lot of programs where he's kind of like promoted the investment part about it.
Mm,
DM people link to download stuff like that. That may be what people are referring to.
got it, got it.
But
I think it's
no,
like $200, 250, something like that.
yeah, I invested in it a long time ago. Yeah.
How much was it each person? Like each one?
Oh, I don't know.
The lowest tier, rather.
I don't remember. I invested. He had a thing called something engine. I can't remember at the time. But this was years ago, maybe about 40 years ago. And I invested in it about 250 myself. So
Got it, got it, got it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
about 40
thought.
years ago though.
Yeah, it's been that long. I think the UIL boys also invested.
They probably did. I'm sure they did because
They did
yeah,
because they were helping him promote it, right?
yeah. They're pretty close. You know, EYL was like during the pandemic was heavy in Atlanta, and Isaac Hayes is in Atlanta. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a smart brother. Actually, we had a big
Yeah, man.
me and
I
him.
think he should change his focus to Africa and the diaspora instead of America.
It's not gonna work. It's
Like,
not gonna work. Trust me.
no,
It's not.
like a country like Nigeria with the
It's not.
population.
It's not gonna work. Listen,
Explain.
he's irrationally democratic. Like he's irrational. I promise you, he's too. Listen, when I tell you irrational, I mean he's a very smart brother, but he's irrational when it comes to American politics. I promise you.
So
I've had
so
many
when you say it's not gonna
conversations with
work,
him
it's
about
just
this.
because of him and his way of thinking.
No. I'm just saying, like he's a Democratic shield. I mean,
Okay.
at the end of the day, like I've had many conversations with him about this topic. I promise you, you cannot. It's you could just go to if you just try to like do a search and just check out all of it's like political. It's like extremely.
No, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying, all I'm suggesting is to build up the user base.
No, he's not. Of course, he wants. He actually he releases demographics of how many different countries are on fan base, and I forgot the number. It's a very large number, but in terms of from a political standpoint, he's never like he's just super pro. He hates the Republicans, but he's a very pro Democrat individual. He thinks that's where black people should focus their power on. Now, if you want to talk about specifically just promoting fan base, I mean, I don't know if the only reason why I would say his focus is America is because he's still crowdfunding. So his focus is still America because he crowdfunds, and he has a lot of different. Like a lot of people think he's just the sole owner. He's actually not the sole owner. There's also other owners involved in it. So I think there's probably a shareholder element to that as well, to why he focuses his advertising to America. I've never seen it, but actually, it's funny. One of his biggest competitors, a guy named is a Nigerian. Actually, it's a guy named Nelson. So my friend Lou Fax, who's actually he's over here now. Y'all wouldn't like him though. Lou Fax is he he hosts these big rooms called Intellectual Gangbanging, right, on Clubhouse. And Nelson, who has another app, I forgot Nelson's app. I forgot the name of it, but he had an app, and Western Color had it up. Nelson is actually Nigerian, by the way. And that what you just mentioned was a conversation that they actually had. And I can't remember. This was probably about 2 years ago, but I don't remember the exact reason. But that was part of the conversation, and I
Gotcha,
just remember it wasn't really favorable. So
gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, fan base is I'm gonna look into it. I've been hearing it just like TikTok. I heard about TikTok for many years, and I refuse to download it. I don't know why I haven't looked into I might be one of those people that haven't been supporting, but it's because people are not going there. I'll go there.
Yeah. So it's I listen. I like listen. Let me say this again. Isaac Hayes is a very intelligent brother. I think his goal and aspirations are very, very noble. I appreciate it. I'm on fan base, but the the reason why I believe people aren't staying on there is because it's scattered. Like, you gotta. It's so focused on so many different things. Like it does what TikTok does. It does what Instagram does. It does what Clubhouse does. Like it has all those things integrated into it, but it doesn't do any of those things better than any of the apps. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So it's like I go on there. I still go on there. But if you want to actually get that critical mass, you have to do something better than what the other apps are doing, or they're just gonna go to the apps. I don't.
true, true,
I've been
true,
trying to
true,
tell them
true.
that, but I don't know. Man. You don't listen, man. It's all good though.
How are the live streams?
I mean, actually, you can actually live stream, or like for example, well, you can do it on Clubhouse too, so it's actually kind of crazy. Basically, the same thing you could do on Clubhouse. I mean, I'm sorry, on TikTok, like when you can show somebody where you at, where you on live, and like what we're doing now on this panel, you can do that too as well.
Hmm.
And the live streams on there are pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not as fluid as you would want it to be. I mean, but it works. I mean, him. I mean, there's an element to this where he's like, he needs more investment, he needs more engineers, etc., and that's probably all true. You know what I'm saying? But again, I just feel like, but to me, the secret sauce is do one thing better than everybody, then you can do everything. That's just my philosophy. You do one thing
Yeah.
better than everybody, then you can do everything. Once the people come, you know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
he just hasn't hit that part yet.
I've also heard rumors of glitches.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. His when I talked to him about the engineering aspect, he claims that they're constantly working on it, and they need more engineers and more money, etc. Which is cool. Which is why I donated, and I still support him. I support it. But yeah, it's not as smooth. It's not as like a finished product as like a TikTok or a Clubhouse. But again, to get to throw him some bail, he doesn't have as much financial support as any of these things either. So
Right, right. He doesn't have the small hats in his pockets.
I
Oh,
think he actually has one. Actually, it's interesting, but not enough support. Yeah.
gotcha, 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 gotcha.
So in order to get that money to get to the level of these apps, he most likely is going to have to partner with them.
No, no,
I'm listen.
he can do grassroots
Well, that's
funding
what he's doing.
or
But
you're right, right.
but I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and see, this is the part y'all don't like hearing. I work in the media industry, right? I own my own company. This is actually how I got involved in trying to understand the small hats, is working with these people. You have to. It's like asking how can you get into the music industry without working with the small hats. You basically can't. You can't really do it. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to try to figure out ways, but it's like almost impossible. You really want to know why? I love Kendrick, but you really want to know why Kendrick? You already know why. You know what I'm saying? You want to know why some of these guys ain't speaking out? You already know why. That's just the real. That's the reality of it. So as Black people, this is actually one of the reasons why I'm Pan African. When I'm talking to my FBA brothers and sisters, I'm like, yo, bro, we don't even own our own music industry. This is our music, and we have to do what they tell us to do. Like this is, I don't know. You can't be. Anyway, I'm gonna get frustrated thinking about it. But anyway, the point is, you basically have to work with them if you want to make it into the industry. Almost have to. So it's just disappointing, but it's the nature of the reality.
Hmm, 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 hmm. Think there has to be a way around them. There has to be a way.
Pan Africanism. That's the way around it. It's just the only way.
I agree. I agree.
You
I
There's
mean like
agree.
no
I
other
agree.
investor
way.
wise? You mean investor wise, right?
Crowdfunding through Pan Africanism, I think,
So
would
let
be
me.
the easy way to get around it.
So you heard what she just said, right? Watch this. So Ariane Simone, I don't know if you guys know who she is, right? So she ran an investment capital, right, firm, right? It was Black women centered. Okay, this is gonna really mess y'all up. It's black women.
Is it the one? Is it the one that got sued by the small
Yes,
hats?
exactly. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Wait, where was it at though?
This
Where
was
was
in
it
America.
headquartered? That's the issue.
Oh,
That's
where
one
was
of
it
the issues.
headquartered at? It's funny because she's actually Pan African. She actually has she's got a damn. I forgot her title in Ghana. Oh, but anyway, I don't remember where it was headquartered. It may. I don't remember. That's a good question. It was called the Fearless Fund. You can Google it. But it's shut down now. By Ariane Simone. You can just Google it. I don't remember where it was headquartered at. But the point is, they got all that shut down. The small hats got it all shut down.
And she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything.
Right? She didn't do. She did. All she
They
did was
just did it to shut her down. That's all they did it for. Just to shut her down.
they shut her down.
What was their claim in court for them to be able to shut her down? What was the claim?
So it was basically because it was for women of color, and they were saying it was discriminatory against other groups. So
Oh, okay. So this is a US based problem. So that's
yeah.
the issue. That's the issue right there.
Oh, I thought you was asking
Unfortunately,
like what state or something. Yeah.
no. I'm thinking more so if you want to have a more independent Pan-African media, it would have to exist outside of the US. And if you really needed funding that you feel like you could not get from the people, like sufficiently, like you can crowdsource some of it, but I think that you would have to go like the China route or something like that. You get me? That's what I think.
That's true too, but that's a difficult run too because unfortunately, you're right. Here, Africa and Black people in general have to make a shift towards the East, and this is it's funny. This is a conversation I was having with the Congolese actually, but I don't want to get off into that. But we got to make a shift towards the East because what the West does is even if you get funding from like an African nation, people forget they can still sanction you. A lot of people don't understand every transaction that you make, even if you're in Africa, still goes back to the United States. When you swipe Visa, that transaction, that microtransaction still goes back to New York and then pings back to wherever you're at. And that's the problem. When you get sanctioned, they deny that. You see what I'm saying? So China has I forgot the name of their system, but they have another system. And actually, it's funny because South Africa is working with them. I think South Africa is going to be the first country in Africa that is implementing the system. I forgot the name of it, but there's a Chinese system where you don't need to go through America to actually adopt any sort of financial transactions. Um,
For international transaction.
yeah, well, no, it could be it could be a local. So, for example, if you're in Africa, you swipe something like your card,
I know things back.
yeah.
That I know.
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
SIPS?
That could be. I can't remember. That could be the name of it. But it's something. It's South Africa is
Isn't
working with.
SIPS Brazil?
Well, let me look at it. Let me Google it. Give me a second. Hold on.
Isn't SIPS Brazil in America?
Brazil might be involved, but I thought it
No,
was
they have their
Chinese.
own. Brazil they have their own. They
Okay.
created their own payment system away from SWIFT.
Yeah. I mean, I
Like
think I've heard
the
about
government
that.
is created for the citizens,
Hmm.
similar to WeChat, similar to WeChat.
That's
Not a
interesting.
social media app, but just for payments. But
Okay, here it goes right here. Yeah, she got it right. Yep, it's called SIP. So it's just called China's Interbank Payment System. Yep, that's what it's called. This is I'm looking at it December 1st. This is when I read it. Yep.
and South Africa is in process of adopting it,
Yeah, but
implementing it rather.
yeah, in conjunction with what they already have. But yes, yeah. So this is what we need to do. We need to do stuff like that. Because even if we do, let's just say we have some sort of like get support from Africans, we still need to operate in America. We still need to operate in the UK and all these other places. You know what I'm saying? And even if we don't operate in those places, the transactions still have to go back to New York. So it's like this is the game. This is how they force us into their nonsense. This is how they force it. I don't know if you
But if they choose to sanction you, just like for example Cuba, They can easily just do it and tell people if they're dead, trade with you, we'll sanction you too, and people will back off.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why we have to. This is why I'm pro China. I'm not pro China because I think they're like, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. Or ain't nothing like that. I'm just pro China because somebody needs to oppose the West. Honestly.
Or they are. They're doing a good job too.
Can I unveil my million reasons why I'm pro China?
Yes.
I knew he was
This is
coming.
this is
I knew
this
he
is
was
this is the
coming.
perfect spot for you. This is the perfect spot for you.
Alphabetical order. You guys got your pencil and paper? Huh? Ready?
Yes.
No, I'm just messing around. But no, man, I got a million reasons why. You know, the brotherly love that black people require is expressed in the Chinese way of living. The brotherly love that I can revisit as a child that I saw semblance of among us that has been disseminated, I see it in the Chinese. You understand? So it gives me faith to realize that there is a point that we can reach. They give me faith to show that we can reshape the way how we live and conduct among ourselves, whether you believe it or not. Fair? No? No, no, yeah, no?
It's fair, man.
It's fair? Because I'm not as articulate as you are, man. I envy you, in the Milkia. I'll go to bed at nighttime saying, can I explain shit like in the Milkia does? Please, God.
Stop pulling my leg.
No, you're here. That sounds a bit romantic. I'll pull your hair. Right? I'll pull your hair.
No, see?
No,
Continue with China, please.
yeah. But was that clear, Pan? I need your opinion, Pan, because you be ready.
I'm here. I muted myself so you can have the floor, sir.
Oh, word?
But go ahead. I'm
That's
here.
new. That's new. That's new.
No, it's not new. It been complaining a lot lately, so
All right, good.
I'm trying not to get you
Today
there.
is my day. Today is my day. Then, separate from the personal and social achievement, I like the fact that the time in which they change and transform their society is unprecedented, need to be studied. Something need to be taken from it, Fair, right? No? Yeah?
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna stay off mute. Yes.
Okay. 2, right? Then I had a conversation with Pan and saying their relationship with nature is enviable. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Separate from their high technology, just their relationship with nature, how they have some fundamental farming practices, which is, worth examination. You know what I mean? I've seen them with the way they express their arts. You know what I mean? Me and you was talking about, I've seen them, just thousands of shit, man, I could name even in that department. I've seen how they relate plants with arts and, you know what I mean, turn it into a market. I've seen how they turn their farmland just functional without sight of machinery. Like, you ever seen a mango farms, how they build the gutters between it in order to make the water lighten the weight of the delivery oh man, that shit is just, oh man, like, their relationship with nature also is enviable. You understand? Like, I see it among us, but it's not a wide collective thing. You get what I'm saying? Our genius is in some isolated area. We haven't brought the shit together and make it seem like a
That's
broad.
it. That's it.
You understand?
Hmm.
So all our innovations are in some pockets and some corners, and but we haven't and brought it in together and make it be like a civilizational shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I could keep going, man. Like I could keep going, And we can't ignore, work ethic. Work ethic. There's nobody. I used to think Mexicans work hard, bro. I used to think Mexicans work hard. Nobody in the world works as hard as the Chinese.
Hmm.
Can I interject for a moment? I think
Yeah,
this is very funny coming from you because you're Jamaican with all the
yeah.
stereotypes of Jamaican people.
Yeah, we work hard, but we don't work together. We individually work for our individual goals, or some small part. We don't work like the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? We don't work like the Chinese. Chinese achievements have me saying like nothing is impossible to them. You understand? Their projects are just mammoth and huge, even when it's
Epstein, you glazing so hard right now, bro.
nah, bro, it's shit we got to fucking.
This is
This is what me and Pan
massive
talk about in the
glaze, bro.
background, bro. I can name projects, bro. I can name projects to you that nobody else in the world cannot fucking do it. None. I can
Ah,
name
this,
water redirection programs that there's nobody in the world to match the shit that the Chinese done. And I'm talking about before they was this big industrial powerhouse. Before the shit where they turned the areas that rich in water supply and reroute the shit to regions of
well, let me
China.
tell you, because I want to bring this down a little bit. Do you
Yeah.
believe China does malicious things in Africa?
No, could you tell me? I'm just talking. We get to that. You see, that's what they do
Okay,
all the
okay,
time.
because you glazing so hard right
Nah, that's
now.
what it need to be, yo, bro. Bro,
Come
I
on.
am not the only one. All your economic experts are telling you, they're dismantling white supremacy, dog.
Wait, hold on. I don't. Okay, so slow down. I
Yeah,
don't think they're dismantling white supremacy now. I think what they're now. This is the part where we can agree on. We can agree. Now I support them 100% because I would rather them
I really don't
oppose.
want you to agree with me with nothing. I just named the facts, whether you want to
No,
agree with it
no,
or
no,
not,
no,
brother.
no, no, no. Hold on. Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you with what you just said. It's not about agreeing with you, right?
All right,
So,
good.
but when you said like what is a fact, like what they can do, nobody else in the world could. I don't know. You go like this is just what
No,
are you
no, but
doing?
what they have done,
What are you
listen,
doing?
hear it clear. What the Chinese have achieved, and I could name like 50 projects. Nobody else in the world have achieved it. None. Power generation, nobody in the world can match Chinese with power generation. The rate and scale that they transform as a people, never been done in human history. 850 million people out of abject poverty, never been done in human history. That is equivalent to the entire Western Hemisphere except the Caribbean. Never been done in human history. Talk to me, and I have 10 more to give.
No, it's okay, bro. I this we're not gonna. Okay,
No,
bro. I don't
you
want to
can't
go right
you
there.
can't belittle nothing that I just said.
I,
850 million
wait,
people
hold
out
on.
of abject poverty in 25 years, never been done in human history.
Ah, man. All right, percent. All right.
Give me data that can undo that. Never. America with $23 trillion economy. China did that with less. China built the equivalent of the entire European housing market in 15 years. That's never been done in human history. The entire Europe housing stock, the Chinese built it for their people in 15 fucking years. Tell me where else you ever seen that and match that work rate to anybody else, any people. Tell me that shit. And that's fact. produce and use more concrete in 3 years than the American Empire used in 100. 100! Facts! Tell me I shouldn't give them credit. I'm not one of them to hate on my
No one
neighbor that's
said
doing
that.
good.
You
Nah,
just
you try to belittle their accomplishment, bro. Nah, and you glazing,
hey,
and you
Pan African. I
glazing.
mean, Pristine. I think
My
you're
glazing is
irrational,
facts,
bro.
though. My
You're
glazing is
irrational.
facts.
You're irrational, dude. What you're saying is irrational. You're saying I didn't even say what you said. You just this is just irrational. You
So
can't
what does
see it.
glazing mean? What do you mean by glazing?
You don't know what glazing means. What's going on?
No, define it. We are black people. We tend to use ebonics and change bad from good, good from bad. You know what I mean? Give me your definition, brother.
There's no you know what's crazy? I before you even spoke, I'm the one that was given China credit.
No, you said the only
What do
thing
you
you
mean
give
no?
them
I
credit
was
for.
given China credit.
You said
I
the
literally was
only
given
thing
China
you
credit
give.
before you spoke.
You said your statement was the only thing you give them credit for
That's
is
not what I
giving the
said.
West.
That's not what I said. I never said that. Yo, you're irrational, bro. That's what I'm saying. I can't. It's just pointless because you're not really hearing me.
Irrational for
You're
me
not listening.
entering the argument.
You
All right,
just.
go
This is
ahead.
just. Nah, it's
Pan,
cool.
you want to bet? You want to bet him? That's what he said for me to come in the argument
Rewind
and
it.
say,
Okay,
and,
yeah, let's bet. Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
You know,
Rewind it
You don't.
now and let's bet. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what? I'll bet you a
Yes. Let's
simple 50.
bet.
I'll bet
Bet
you a
me.
simple
Yes.
50. Yeah, a simple
Yes.
50. Right.
Yes.
All right, yes. You ain't got to say yes 50 times. I say yes too.
What are we doing?
You
What's
said
going
the
on?
only thing you give China credit for is challenging the West. And I came in and I said I could name a million things. Then Pan said, this is a perfect opportunity for you. I mean, I guess I'm dumb, you know. But if you want to
Right?
keep
Yeah.
up,
I don't even want to. This is a
if you
dumb
want
back
to
and
up the
forth.
bet
Hey, go
from
ahead, bro.
50,
It's cool, bro.
if you want to up it, now
This is crazy.
yeah,
Yo,
now you get
this is a
this is not
dumb
even
back and
something
forth.
for you to get an attitude from. But your superiority complex gonna make it seem like I am doing something that is making you that irate. Like we can't even reason
Wait,
on
hold on,
common
hold on. You
accomplishment.
think
We
I'm
cannot even
irate?
reason on common accomplishments.
Yo, this
It
nigga
gotta
is
be a
crazy.
fucking egotistical shit.
Hey,
God.
bro, you need to go see a therapist, homie.
Toxic. Just be careful. Just be careful. Your account. Remember where we are. Just be careful. You can continue if you want. Hold on.
Crazy.
Hold on, Travis. Hold on, Travis. You can continue if you want, but just remember where you are.
Let's move
Can
on. This is
anybody
insane,
attest? Can
dude.
anybody attest to that's exactly what I came in the argument and said? While he can only name one, I could name a million. Wasn't it that's not what I entered the discussion on?
No.
It
Listen.
is.
Am I lying in the mouth here?
Wait,
No,
hold on.
you are not.
Wait,
Oh
hold on.
wow, this man changed his position. Yo, you good man? You got that FBA
Oh,
thing down
man.
pat,
This
bro.
is this is
You
this is
got your
just hey, look, y'all got it because this is
your
retarded. I can't do the
superiority
low IQ
shit.
shit. I can't do the low IQ shit, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
out.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I know. That's why I hate to be on panels with these high IQ people that know everything and switch their words. You know what I'm saying? That 3 minutes is not what you said 3 minutes ago. The fucking shit is crazy. That's not what you said. That's the
Can we